What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Meeting after meeting, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau rubbed shoulders with the movers and shakers in Davos. From Facebook to Microsoft executives, billionaire George Soros and the CEO of Shell.
Thank you, Professor Schwab, for your warm welcome and for bringing this impressive group together.
We will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world, and how to prepare? It means to take the necessary action.
Ottawa police are preparing for truckers and supporters from across Canada descending on the nation's capital Saturday. Prime Minister Trudeau is their target after his government introduced new rules that require unvaccinated truckers returning from the United States to test and quarantine for up to 14 days.
So what exactly do you intend to do?
We are going to roll across Canada. They are going to go to Parliament Hill and protest, sit there and protest, peacefully, of course, until these mandates are lifted.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians.
Oui, on va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère?
If you sit there and you watch what CBC's saying, you've got people talking about there's going to be another Holocaust. This is a Nazi takeover. It's ridiculous. There's a native drum circle over there. There's minorities all over the place. There's some Sikh guys, Amish Mennonites somewhere. There's people from all over the country. It's the same thing. They're all united on the same concept of well, the government's out of control. And that's the unifying message here, starting with these mandates. And I don't think there's anything unreasonable about that. This isn't a fringe minority. I've never seen this amount of support in my life in this country for anything. Yeah. If anything, this is actually the most unified amount and diverse group of Canadians I've ever seen on message on the same point.
I am not Caucasian. I am Inuk, 100% Inuk. What is Justin Trudeau doing? This is not right. We stand up for our people in Nunavut and all over Canada and the whole entire world and our children.
So we heard of all these people from across Canada coming here for whatever reason they have. So it's like, you know what? Let's go out. Let's talk to all of our neighbors from across the country. And so far, every single person we have met has just met us with so much love, so much understanding, so much peace, and they made me cry so many times just hearing their incredible stories for what they're fighting for.
They're afraid to leave their house, watching the CBC, ingesting all this fear, and then they're the one that's lying. And I told them, you report fake news. And I'm so thankful that I can come, I can bring my children, so that if our pictures, there's plaster everywhere, so that people would know this is a God-fearing families, honorable families that are coming here supporting this. This is about the family unit and restoring the family unit.
How has this lockdown affected you?
Yes, the lockdown is the biggest sorrow for me in my life. I mean, even I cannot go swim without QR code, and I have no job because I am refused several times because I do not have QR code, and all this restriction, it's a humiliation I can compare it only with fascism. The kids are suffering the worst because they see all this craziness. They cannot see people's faces. They cannot see smile, mimics, and even articulation. It's awful. This is fascism. It should be stopped.
I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a racist. I have no problem with white people. I have no problem with other race, whatever. It is a vocabulary that has been spread in many countries. They use the same vocabulary in France, the same vocabulary in the United States. This is a concerted effort to use the same vocabulary globally so that people get brainwashed, divide themselves, and insult their friend, their neighbor. It's organized for that, and people have to see beyond the trap. It's really important. We're a very compliant society. We're also very polite, and so we will agree. But the problem is now it is the time to fight, and it is the time to get a little harder on things. So what brought me here is that I do not recognize my country. Things have changed enormously. In the last 6 years, Trudeau has changed the face of this country. So that's what brought me here, because I'm not as free as when I was young.
What it means to me, maybe my hope for freedom. I lost my house, devastated. I lost my job. I am the only provider in the family. So there is no way back for me. I want to tell Canadians to do not lose hope. I came here to Ottawa. I was delivering hope, and I'm going to go back with freedom. So I'm going to have a load back home too. Yeah.
What it do, y'all? It is your homegirl Tammy. You already know I'm not a pastor, but y'all gonna get the word today, and the word today is freedom. As you guys can see, I am currently in one of our trucks. My family owns an independent black-owned trucking company, and as a black woman, honestly, it's an honor to stand beside and with my fellow Canadian brothers and sisters in our quest for freedom, to keep our Canada the true north, strong and free. We are all different nationalities, different walks of life, different religions, different sexual orientations. But the one thing that unites us all is the word freedom. And we want to keep our freedoms, right? I'm completely disgusted to see the extent that the governments and medias are going to vilify and demonize the Freedom Convoy. I'm right here, y'all. I'm black. I'm proud. I will be in Ottawa.
You know what was the vibe over there in Ottawa today? It's like freedom over fear, love over hate, freedom over fear, love over hate, unity, freedom, unity, freedom. This is the vibe was there, man. And make your slogans and do it. Go all the way in. And I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight. If I'm sleeping, in my dreams, I'm gonna be in the Ottawa, right? So see you guys in the dream, all right? Good night.
Our happiness, you can't steal anything. You can't steal these smiles, okay? Yes, we're still here, we're still loving everybody, and we're still protesting.
They are just giving away food. I mean, they say like homeless people have come by to get food. This is open to absolutely anybody. Protesters, truckers. This is what Canada is about. Look at what we are doing and creating and how people are coming together to unite. These are people just volunteering their time and their services, and it's just such a beautiful thing.
I mean, every time I click on a story, it's negative. So I just feel like it's very disappointing that we can't trust our mainstream media. We can't trust our journalists to at least report the truth. Yes, there are a few bad apples, but overall, I mean, it's all peaceful. It's all positive. It's so like friendly and happy and joyous. I haven't seen this many happy faces in 2 years. So it's amazing to see. The atmosphere is just amazing. It's positive. The energy's great, the vibe's great. I mean, I'm glad I made the trek down here.
We just want to announce the 6 are back in the Freedom Convoy. The Khalsa's here to stay. We're here to join the fight for freedom. We're here till the end. And we ain't going to stop until the truckers and Canadians are victorious. The mandates have to end. And all you guys that are saying, oh, it's racism, all this. See it for yourself. See it for yourself. Don't make shit up hiding behind a computer screen. Come to ground zero in the heart of the convoy and make shit happen.
Lord, this weekend has been a peaceful protest. No one has gotten arrested.
No.
And Lord, we pray that you will forgive this media, the lying media, that is trying to turn us against each other.
All you people here today, all of what you're seeing here, this is not going to happen tonight on the 6 o'clock news, is it? You will not see yourself. You will not see how patriotic and beautiful and how you're waving all the right flags that I can see. You will not see yourself on the news tonight. And do you know how I know that? It's because I directed the news for 20 fucking years over there. What I have to say here is that I think the most misinformation that has ever been spread in the past 2 years has come from mainstream media. We have spread so much misinformation that my heart is broken.
This is democracy. This is what democracy is all about. People believe that the government has overstepped with mandates and they're here to exercise their democratic right. People give the government the power to act in accordance with their values. The government does not have any independent power. It is us that confer the power on the government. And where they overstep, the people have a right to voice their opinions.
So far, no one from the federal, provincial, or municipal government has spoken directly with us. Instead, they are using you, the media, to portray us as racists, misogynists, and even terrorists. As a woman with Métis heritage, a mother and a grandmother, I am offended. The reality is that members of this freedom movement are average, peace-loving, and law-abiding citizens from all walks of life who are fed up with being disrespected and bullied by our government. That's why we named it the Freedom Convoy. It's not the convoy for the unvaccinated, it's the convoy for freedoms for everybody.
For 2 years, we've been starved of love, being social and being with our families and our loved ones, going to school, playing sports, and going anywhere we want. For 2 years, we had nothing, and we came here to a feast of love and joy and happiness. There are no terrorists here. You can say what you want, but if you come here and see what's happening, you will feel it. We can tell you what you want, but when you come here, you feel it in your heart. You feel what's happening around here, and you can't do anything but smile. Take our gas, take our diesel, take our propane, take anything you want, but you will not take our freedom, you will not take our love. We are Canadians. Yeah!
Well said. Thank you, ladies. Over the past few days, Canadians were shocked and frankly disgusted by the behavior displayed by some people protesting in our nation's capital. Hate can never be the answer. I want to be very clear. We are not intimidated by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans. Tous les Canadiens ont le droit d'exprimer leur opinion ou leur désaccord avec leur gouvernement, mais ils n'ont pas le droit de menacer ou de harceler leurs concitoyens, ni de propager des messages de haine. There is no place in our country for threats, violence, or hatred. So to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop. To anyone who joined the convoy but is rightly uncomfortable with the symbols of hatred and division on display, join with your fellow Canadians. Be courageous and speak out. Do not stand for or with intolerance and hate. And to Canadians at home, watching in disgust and disbelief at this behavior, wondering how this could have happened in our nation's capital after everything we've been through. The behavior on display this weekend does not represent you. Hateful rhetoric, abuse towards their fellow citizens. There is always a right to protest peacefully that I and others will defend fully as part of this democracy. There is not a right to incite violence, perform acts of violence, or to spew hatred. And I think anyone who is part of this group who is disgusted by what their folks protesting alongside are doing needs to step up and take responsibility, condemn these actions, and look for other ways to express their displeasure. Aux expressions de haine et d'intolérance qu'on a vues parmi ces manifestants, je veux remercier la police d'Ottawa, la GRC, le service de protection parlementaire et tous ceux qui ont travaillé pour s'assurer de minimiser l'harcèlement et l'intimidation des citoyens qu'on a vus à Ottawa.
How are you doing today? Doing great. How's it been down here? Nothing but good. People are super good. The truckers have been having a good time. They've been getting their point across.
How's it been?
Hey, buddy, it's been good, man. Peaceful. People are in a great mood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Always supportive of people exercising their democratic right to peacefully protest.
Much appreciated.
Stay
Thank
safe
you.
out there.
Thank you.
We're entering the third week of illegal blockades that have been disrupting the lives of too many Canadians. Here in our capital city, families and small businesses have been enduring illegal obstruction of their neighborhoods, occupying streets, harassing people, breaking the law. This is not a peaceful protest. The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to supplement provincial and territorial capacity to address the blockades and occupations.
They are invoking the most tyrannical government overreach in all of Canada's history because of peaceful protests by truckers.
This has been an incredibly peaceful protest.
The truckers, their supporters, have in the main behaved incredibly well.
Bouncy houses for the children, free food and coffee, music.
It's so peaceful, it's such a joyous atmosphere.
Truckers' protest is a fantastic example of what happens when people come together.
The fact that you've been able to remain peaceful, you haven't taken the bait, you haven't responded with violence to quite remarkable denigration and provocation.
I remember the tweet that Trudeau posted. He called the truckers every name in the book: anti-Semitic, Islamophobia, anti-black racism, homophobia, transphobia.
And I think that he's quite a dangerous individual, actually, because he's been deliberately inciting division and discord in his nation.
He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. No, they're not. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, tolerate it. Now you do sound like Hitler.
Justin Trudeau just did something unprecedented in Canadian history.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
Invoking the Emergencies Act would allow the government to put an end to all of the demonstrations.
By this rationale, they could have cracked down on the civil rights movement. They could have arrested Martin Luther King.
If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen. As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
The government has decided to punish their people.
There's a state of emergency? I'm like wondering where this emergency is.
What measures are being considered if protesters do not comply, if they do not leave that secure area?
So we've been really clear with everyone since the very beginning. It's time to go. Your time in our city has come to an end and you must leave. We've engaged in interactions with the protesters to attempt to persuade, negotiate with them to leave the footprint of our area. We will continue to do that. But what I can tell you is we have a deliberate plan of action to take in order to make sure that our streets are turned back to our residents and our community is turned back to normal.
I sprayed this lady in the face.
We need a medic!
Relax. She got sprayed. Hold my hand. Bring her back with me, okay? Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Two ladies getting pepper sprayed right in the face, like right in the eyes.
But someone shot me in my left legs with the tear gas gun. It was point blank. It was really next to my legs. And so I fell on the ground because not only my legs were hurting, but all the gas from the canister went all over me, in my head, eyes, and in my mouth.
Gerald H. Charlebois. I am 78 years of age. What happened is this truck sitting there with a freedom sign on it and two flags. I was backing them up all the way. And these two police officers came back up at me, said, you know, you're making unnecessary noise. They asked me for my wallet. I got my wallet. Wasn't arguing or anything with them. And then all of a sudden, all the yelling went on. I went to turn, and he grabbed me by the shoulders and then said, you are under arrest.
Look, they're hurting an old man, a Canadian citizen. It's communism.
Took the handcuffs off me. My hand was full of blood. He had torn the skin off my hand. I'm afraid to go out of the house. I'm afraid of them. They made me afraid.
You're pushing us against concrete. Well, then you guys stop pushing us against the concrete. Do you not kick? Oh, how am I supposed to move? Oh, but this guy grabbing me. Look at this, officers. You're pushing us against concrete. Move! I can't Move! breathe. I Move! can't. Move! Move! I can't. Okay, guys, I'm down. Stop.
Put my hands behind my head, and I was waiting them to take me away. Then suddenly somebody yelled, arrest him. So they dragged me in, they lie me down on my belly. I don't recall how many of them they was on top of me.
They slammed me on the ground and started punching. They were punching my face, they were kneeing me in the face, and simultaneously that's when one of the riot officers took my nylon, it's like a rain jacket, so it's waterproof, hard to breathe through, and he took my hood and wrapped it around my mouth and my nose, and it was cutting off my breathing. I didn't know if I was gonna get another breath, because the last thing I saw were fists and knees coming into my face from all directions in my head, the top of my head, all over. I pulled my face out from the hood of my jacket and I faced the other way, and I yelled out, I can't breathe.
Why is the camera in my face right now? Are you here partaking?
You walked
right
up
now
to
you're
me.
in the red zone?
I'm scared. I want to go for a coffee down there. Can I go for a coffee?
Still being arrested right now. Do you live in this? You're not excluded
here,
from that.
But I'm
Where do you live?
Alberta.
Time for you to leave.
I can't even go down there for coffee.
No, go grab yourself in the red zone right now. If you don't leave right now, you will be arrested. Do you understand me?
I can't go for a coffee.
Grab your stuff, because if you see, we'll be patrolling all day. If we see you again, it'll be different.
Leave.
I tell you, take your camera and get out of here. Do you understand that? Walk away. Your phone doesn't need to be in our face when you're walking away. Go. Are you going to walk, or are you going to get arrested?
I was
Go.
walking
now.
away.
Get out of here.
We are a peaceful protest.
Hold the line! Here comes the horses. They have the horses coming.
Hey, stand down! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look what you did! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! You trampled on the lady who is inaccessible! Shame on you! Shame on every one of you!
I cry aren't tears of sadness. You guys, I just want you to stay strong, and I want you to continue to be unified. When you see the reporters in the streets, be kind and show them love. We don't have to agree with what they're doing, even though after all they've done, I know it's frustrating, but we still have to have love in our hearts. Please show respect to them. Show respect to our police officers. A lot of these men and women, although I know it's not an excuse, are probably just trying to feed their families. I said it from the start and I'll say it again. Please pray for them and forgive them, for they know not what they do. At least I have to believe that. And I know there's a lot of anger at our government. There's a lot of rightful anger at our government. But I want you to know that Justin Trudeau has 3 beautiful children. So remember that. We don't have to like what he does, but I'm going to ask you to pray for him too. I pray that you all find forgiveness in your hearts, and I pray that you all find love, even when we don't understand it. I think it's inevitable at this point. I'll probably be going somewhere tomorrow where I'll be eating 3 square meals a day, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, and I want you to know that I'm not afraid. Just please stay peaceful, and please take care of each other, and know that this too shall pass. And the only way this is going to succeed is if we always come from a place of love. I've always said, as human beings, we make choices from one of 2 places. We make choices from love, or we make choices from fear. That's it. That's the bottom line. And I pray and I hope that you will make your choices from love. You have to know that they're trying to provoke us. I mean, you hear their language. You hear the language and the verbiage that they're using, and that is not coming from us. But we can only win this with love, and we can only win this together. And it's time to stand together.
What's important to note here is that when you're held over in regards to bail, she's not in a regular prison. She's being held in custody. That's very uncomfortable. That is not a place that's set up for people to be held long term. So it is especially onerous on an individual such in this case as Tamara Lich, to be held further under these circumstances. It's important to remember that these are not regular prison conditions. They are far worse.
Let's have a look at what kind of people who do get bail in this region. Doctor accused of murder at Hawkesbury, Ontario hospital granted bail. This is July 5th, 2021. Who stands accused of first-degree murder in the death of a patient at his hospital in Hawkesbury, Ontario, has been granted bail. Lucy Lee, suspected in Hamilton shooting homicide, granted bail. This is January 20th, 2022.
Here, which is, I mentioned this on the show the other day, that Tamara Lich, one of the organizers and the one that started the GoFundMe campaign, Métis woman, she was arrested during the police action over the weekend, and I mentioned that she was denied bail. What I didn't mention at the time, because it wasn't out yet, was that the person who was presiding over the case, the judge presiding over the case that denied Tamara Lich bail, was a former Liberal Party candidate. She ran for Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party in the 2011 election. She lost, and then Trudeau appointed her to the federal bench. She is now the one overseeing this. This is an insane conflict of interest. The fact that this judge hasn't recused herself from this case is insane, because the appearance of political interference, political bias, of undermining, again, of our judicial system and the rule of law is really, 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 really bad. So this judge also made 71 donations to the Liberal Party between 2009 and 2014, ranging amounts from $5 to $1,186. And here's Justin Trudeau back in 2013 promoting her in a video, saying that she has vision and she's authentic. Here he is endorsing a judge who is now denying bail to one of these organizers. This is unbelievable. Here is what that looked like.
It's an extraordinary pleasure for me to tell you how much I have great admiration for Julie Bourgeois. Her vision, her authenticity, her strength is going to be an amazing asset, both to the people of Glengarry, Prescott, Russell, but also to everyone in the House of Commons after the next elections, when I will have, hopefully, the honor of sitting beside her in the House. Thank you very much.
So this judge, Judge Bourgeois, she now says, I cannot be assured that if I release you into the community, you will not reoffend. So she's held without the possibility of bail because supposedly she's a threat to public safety. Well, wait a minute, the Emergency Act is over now. So the threat is over, according to Justin Trudeau. They no longer need the Emergency Act, and yet a Métis woman who organized a GoFundMe campaign can't be released because she's a threat. This is wild. Again, this is Banana Republic kind of stuff. Keep in mind that the deranged left-wing activist, the Antifa activist who rammed his car into the protest, who hit 4 protesters with his car, that guy was released on bail. No problem. He's facing 11 serious charges. He assaulted people, injured people, tried to murder people, and all he had to do was post $10,000 bail. He's allowed out. No big deal. But when it comes to the organizer of an event who committed no violence, who committed no assault, who has been peaceful throughout, apparently she is a threat to public and can't be released. Look.
Now, things came into question yesterday as this decision was made. People tweeting out, let's let this sink in for a minute. The judge presiding over the Tamara Lich court case and who denied her bail is an ex-Liberal MP candidate. Interesting development. On Tuesday, the judge said she was not convinced Lich would go home, stay there, and stop her alleged counseling. Those are all tertiary grounds. Primary grounds is whether she will attend court. Below, it's unheard of to hold someone without bail for a mischief charge. Judge who denied Lich bail is a failed Liberal candidate. Appointed judge. You can't make this up, folks. You cannot make this up. Now, is this a political decision? Do you believe that this is a political decision, or is she trying to follow the law?
And today, after careful consideration, we're ready to confirm that the situation
is no longer an emergency. Therefore, the federal government will be ending the use of the Emergencies Act. While the immediate emergency situation is over, this issue won't just go away.
We have to prepare for a more angry world.
We need to constantly work to defend and improve our democracy.
Takes the necessary action.
At home.
We penetrate the cabinets.
And around the world. As I said before, the Emergencies Act was created to flow from and uphold the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. These measures had to be and were compliant with the Charter. And I want to reassure Canadians. Law enforcement agencies are prepared to deal with anyone engaging in unlawful or dangerous activities. Police officers will continue to be there to protect our streets and neighborhoods within their jurisdictions. Let's remember that we're fighting a virus. This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Until we find a vaccine, going back to normal means putting lives at risk.
We need to produce it and to deploy it in every single corner of the world.
Full vaccination of our children and pregnant women.
Development of new vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics.
And for effectual vaccines and therapeutics are developed.
We've already bought the syringes. We already know where it's going to happen. We're thinking about what that's going to be. It's all part of this plan.
I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay.
To repeat, the committee sought to present a clear description of the magnitude and nature of the challenge of foreign interference in Canada. The committee's assessment of the threat is best described at paragraph 189 on page 77, and I quote, "The committee believes there is ample evidence that Canada is the target of significant and sustained foreign interference activities. Each of these activities pose a significant risk to the rights and freedoms of Canadians and to the country's sovereignty. They target ethno-cultural communities, seek to corrupt the political process, manipulate the media. The committee believes that these states target Canada for a variety of reasons, but all seek to exploit the openness of our society and penetrate our fundamental institutions.
We penetrate the cabinets
to meet their objectives."
think the best thing that's happened so far are the truckers in Canada, who hopefully will be a model for other truckers and other working class people who will rise up and say enough. They are our hope. And it's a fact that we really, really need to recognize that people who are not totally brainwashed can see the big lie. And they're really prompted to get up and take their chances and do what has to be done to stop it. I hope that others follow and that we will be rid of this. Of course, we really need to put the perpetrators on trial. This is terribly important. I want to stress that the vital lesson from the Holocaust, which many survivors who were quite prominent, some Nobel laureates like Elie Wiesel, they noted that what facilitated the Holocaust was the silence and indifference of those who watched and did nothing to prevent it. Silence, the onlookers, and the failure to intervene. That's what caused the Holocaust. And as Dietrich Bonhoeffer, German Protestant minister during the Hitler regime, stated, and quote, "Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act."